we need conference to overcome the limitation of UNAI network. Regarding this, I'm going to explain more specifically later on. So, if I move on to IAVE conference, as you can see, there are 3 levels of conferences: international, regional, and national. Let's begin with international conference. International conference has been held biannually since 1970s. Diverse people, including non-members of IAVE, also join this conference. And this helps IAVE to effectively deliver what they want to address in their own conference. And at regional conference, IAVE deals with issues which are more related to the perspective and priority of each region. And when it goes down to national level, the topics are quite different depending on the situation that each state faces. Like in case of Korea, the topic of 7th Volunteer Conference was the recovery of the social trust and community spirit, because it was held after Sewol passenger ship disaster, which was very dreadful. From this 3 levels of conferences, IAVE can make a globalization network for volunteers in the world. And the big advantage of different levels of conferences is that more and more people can share their ideas and are also can influenced by this conference. So from the case of IAVE, we argue that UNAI also should have 3 levels of conferences. But before introducing our format, I want to explain about the limitation of UNAI network and how we can resolve this by holding a conference. Internally, our UNAI network is formed by members of the world. So to manage our whole network effectively, 3 levels of conferences is very important. By sharing and discussing the problems that each nation and region have, UNAI network can make a priority goal which every member of UNAI should attain until the next conference. Externally, to achieve post-MDGs, we need more participation of students, including UNAI members. And we believe that holding a conference is the best way to build an external student network. Specifically, conference can help make partnership with other student organizations, and it can also encourage more students to have more interest in global issues. Moreover, this conference can provide an opportunity to connect students and other student organizations which has similar interests. For these reasons, we already said that we need 3 levels of conferences. So let's move on to our format. In the international conference, as I explained above, we are going to decide what should be dealt considering regional situations. And under the general direction, which is set in international conference, regional and national conference should share ideas and strategy more deeply in their own situations. The actual goal of these 2 conferences is to give more opportunity to more students to join our network. Because it is almost impossible for most of UNAI members and other student organizations to attend international conference. So that is the reason that why we think holding a national conference is the most important among these 3 levels of conferences. But despite the usefulness of our new network model, without proper strategy for managing it, the network cannot work properly. So, therefore, we made 3 suggestions which can be practically used in UNAI model. Our first suggestion is to make Aspire International, AI, as we explained above. These are 3 benefits that we can get from AI, but among them, the one benefit that we need to emphasize is the number 2, incentive. As we showed you in survey, almost 1/3 of students say that they need incentives for their participations. And we believe that giving internship opportunity can satisfy students' need and also can increase participation of students. Secondly, there should be exchange student programs between UNAI institutions. By participating in other Aspire groups' activity, the exchange student program can stimulate each other because they have been working in different environments until now. And by this, students also can understand each other's position better. And this also can be an incentive for students too. Lastly, we think that there should be more joint programs, especially between developed and developing countries. It's similar to exchange student programs, but we believe joint programs can give more chance to other UNAI members to have more close relationship and develop of ownership, especially to the students who are in developing countries, and even the change of recognition among students, like the case of Laos. So, here's our conclusion. As we explained at the first place, despite the importance of students, the role of students has been trivialized in the past. But what if there had been more active students' activities? What if we have helped more students to have interest in global issues earlier? Maybe the situations might be different from now. Therefore, we strongly argue that it is time to emphasize the role of students in post-MDGs, and UNAI should play a central role by building up a successful student network.
And is it okay?
Time's up. You just have 1 minute left.
Yeah. So actually our presentation is over, and here is the last message we want to deliver student here. Student, we are not the leaders of the future. We are the leaders of today.
Well, although it is really hard, it's not easy, but we really do believe if we cooperate each other, we can change the world. So,
will you join us for making the better world together? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very interesting last presentation. Actually, I was very much impressed with killing smiles of the skinhead presenter and the softly twittering sound voice of the graceful lady. Anyway, let us open the panels, and then Peter Beck, would you start commentation?
Well, I can't think of a more appropriate final presentation, because not only was it a very rich presentation, but it's very thought-provoking. I learned a great deal, and I think it's really questioning what UNAI should be moving forward. And I found your argument for students playing a more active role to be very compelling. I think your presentation makes a number of contributions, and two that I'd like to highlight. One, the survey that you did of students, I think, is very revealing of the disconnect between Korean, and I suspect you would get similar results, if not even worse, in other countries. But it really reveals the disconnect between the United Nations efforts and university students. And I think it speaks to why Secretary Ban thought it was so important to set up UNAI, to try and overcome that. And so I think what you've done is try to advance that a step further. I also found your case study very heartwarming of reaching out to students in Laos and not, of course, and really being true development specialists by not giving them fish, but teaching them how to fish and inspiring them to volunteer. I think that's very important and very, very powerful. One small detail that I have to confess, it's small but significant. Nowhere in your paper, your presentation, could I find you explain what AIESEC stands for. And that's important because it's an organization that you talk about a lot. And so I Googled it and discovered that it's the International Association of Students in Economics and Commercial Sciences, I think set up by French students. It's, I guess, a French acronym, actually, so it doesn't quite match the acronym itself. But I think that would just be useful in terms of helping everyone to understand your models. But again, I think you raise some really interesting questions about whether or not UNAI can be taken one step further. And I agree, it's very meaningful to have the gatherings, and I participated in last year's. And to ask this very important question: can it be taken to the next level? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and I just wanted to build on Peter's comments. I also found very interesting your case study with your exchange in Laos. And I wanted to ask you, while you presented the impact that you think you made among the Lao students. Is there impact that this trip made, and is there an impact that these students made on you? What were significant things that you have learned from that experience?
So you want to hear the change that was happening to Korean students? Yes, definitely. And after going to Laos, actually I felt lots of things because I was the member of the volunteer KIC. And then when I had spent time with them, well, it's not easy to believe, but I started to work for people in developing country. And then not only me, lots of our friends also the same feeling and started to do volunteer activities in Korea after experiencing the volunteer activities in Laos. Yes, so I say yes.
Just a comment. People in Laos, actually, they are not pleased with to be called the name of the country as Laos.
Yes.
They just pleased to be called just Lao.
Right.
Lao. All right. So let me open the floor for the last comments. Maybe can I invite, let's say, two. I don't know whether I should give a chance for the presenters. What any other? Maybe just refrain from reading questions because you are the presenter. So this gentleman, and then the last one, the lady behind, in red, no? One here, and then the last question. Okay, so give the microphone to this gentleman first.
Thank you for last good presentation. And I actually, when I saw your topic of your presentation, I expected that through the network, you guys have some kind of a sense to contribute to global citizenship spirit. Yes. So I actually wanted to ask, did you guys find any connection between partnership of university student and global citizenship spirit?
Well, as I said, when we went to Laos for volunteer work in Hannangkong village, the main activities that we have prepared is the global citizenship program for children in Hannangkong village. This is because we believe that the most important advantage that university students have is the education. So for me, I think that is the connection between the university student network, and that is what UNAI Aspire look for.
No more questions? Then maybe panelists? Anyone would like to add on any comments? If not, all right, okay, Dr. Kim.
Just a short comment on the organizing principle of the your proposed UNAI organization. I think we may refer to the organizing principle of European Union. Yes. The principle starts with individual states' identity and solidarity, and then subsidiarity. Yes. Subsidiarity means that the higher level partner helps where the lower partner cannot achieve by themselves. Just their helping or complementing role, rather than having a final decision, having the right to make a final decision. So the initiative should come from the bottom. Yes. And if one institution can't do it by themselves, they can cooperate with each other. And after that, if for in the global level, their efficiency can be improved by the role of higher partnership. So it's like in economics, they say government should come in only when the market fails. So it's a decentralized organizing principle rather than a centralized one. That's my preference. So I'd like to hear your response.
Before,
Professor Kim.
I'm taking charge of the volunteer and exchanging program in my university, and I have one confession. For the last 3 years, I've been sending my students to exchange program and also internship program to developing countries. But the one challenge is, our university, Korea, Yonsei University, I want to give more opportunity to my students to experience the life and the working experience in developing countries. It's been very good. But in the view of the students in developing country, they had some different view on my program, because the Yonsei students, they're going to developing country to experience new thing, and they are satisfied, but they are not ready to work more closely with students in developing countries, particularly in African countries. Means, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to help the young children in African countries. But they're just going there and they living together. But sometimes it's been the burden to the hosting students. It means, we have to think about the efficiency of the students' program. It can be very helpful to the developed country, but we have to elaborate how they can, receive, students from developed country. Thank you.
Maybe. So, thank you. Enriching the point, and then to conclude your presentation, I also found, as well the case of in the previous presentations, you have also many good points. And the first one I would like to appreciate your efforts is your trial to reinforce your argument by having some survey from the students. And then that's a very good point that you can rely on evidence-based argument. And then second one is you have introduced very good case examples of the ISEC and then IAVE, and then showing very courageous, sometimes very bold attitude, which is only available for the youngsters to correct the host institution, the UNAI. So it seems to be very bold attempt, but I like it very much. And then that way you showed your courage to the panels, and then you made very impressive the presentation with killing smiles once again. Thank you very much.
Now we are closing all competition sessions. Please give a round of applause to all the presenters and judges. We are going to have a 15 minutes break. After the break, we will have a development, cooperation, information session at 4:05.